Hey there everybody, it's Vera Wylde and I'm back with another product review. And as with the last few I've done, these are products that were provided to me by the manufacturers for the purposes of review. There's your full disclosure. This is not strictly speaking a sponsorship. I wasn't paid and all the words that I'm about to say are my own. I wasn't given copy to read. So I've got a couple of gaffs. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate these the way that I did with the Unclockable in the hope of having this video stay monetized, although something tells me that just showing underwear, whether it's on me or not, is going to get me demonetized regardless, but we'll find out. But if you have not seen my very old, like distressingly old, video on gaffs, the quick rundown is a gaff is a type of underwear specifically designed to assist in tucking. And by tucking, I mean tucking away your male genitalia so that you have the flat front and you aren't sporting a bulge. Now, as I mentioned in my Unclockable video, that I don't worry about bulge too much anymore. At this point, it's really only if I'm doing burlesque and performing and I don't want the character that I'm being to be perceived as transgender. If I want it to be perceived completely feminine, that's about the only time that I still care. But I certainly have a lot of experience with tucking from, at this point, almost decades plural worth of doing it, and also, just with various means of doing it. So what was interesting to me about these, and I will provide a link down in the description for On Femme, who were very lovely to work with in terms of getting these, is that the style of these is quite full-bodied. Now, anyone who has seen my older video on gaffs, those were thong style. Which was what I was opting for at the time. Again, mostly because the situation in which I needed to tuck most often was in drag and burlesque numbers where, honestly, I, in a fair number of cases, wanted the freedom to be able to show off my cheeks and didn't want them covered up. So I had actually never tried gaffs in this style before. And I gotta say, I was actually very impressed with these on multiple fronts. Now, my traditional thing with gaffs is, so like you can see the design here, this bit that's colored, that's about the shape of what I'm used to getting as a gaff in terms of this and everything else. Now, the thing about this, if you've got this as a thong style, is you can get it tucked up nice, as much as you want, but with enough time and enough movement, it's probably going to come loose at some point eventually. These, which are fuller and more coverage in every area, that didn't happen. And I put this thing through the ringer. I wore this particular one, not only all day, but I ran with this on and tucked. So, like, that's about the only exercise I do consistently is running. I ran about 2 miles with this tucked, didn't come loose, and was surprisingly comfortable doing so. It was, I was really surprised by that. Now, as I said, I've got 2 styles here. They've got more than these. But the main difference in these is the material. It's not actually cotton, but it has a more cotton feel. So this is sort of intended for more everyday long-term wear, whereas this is considered a little bit more the premium. It's a bit shinier, and you'll notice just from design and look and the way it catches the light that if you wanted to use something like for performance or as part of a lingerie or undergarment look or something like that, this will probably be the better way to go in terms of the way it's going to look. But as far as the effect and how well it held the tuck, I actually had comparable experiences with both. And as far as how well it tucks, well, I will put a link to my Unclockable video, and you can see the results there on tucked versus untucked, and it's fairly comparable with these. And obviously, versus the Unclockable, these have the advantage of, not being adhesive that you have to worry about coming loose. Now, that's not to say that these are better than Unclockable. The Unclockable tucking strips were really kind of a situational thing, I think, in a lot of ways. Certainly good for something that you want less coverage on, like a bathing suit or something like that, whereas these aren't intended for that use. So while I'm kind of making a comparison, the actual situations in which you'd use it are a bit different. So I do want to be clear on that. Now, the other thing is that the colored strip is where the strongest part of the elastic is, although, and where it really sort of holds everything tight. And it's tight enough to actually be fairly viable for something that I haven't talked about before, which is up-tucking. Now, up-tucking is something that basically, oh boy, it's for people who usually have some degree of physical discomfort with the way that you normally tuck. And quick reminder, normal tuck is you push your testicles. I don't know why I stumbled over the word. I couldn't decide if I was going to say testicles or testes. I'm definitely getting demonetized now. Anyways, you push those up into the cavities that they originally came from when you were a small child, and then you're just tucking away the penis and the scrotum. Now, with an up-tuck, it's usually still done with the pushing everything up, but instead of tucking everything between your legs and having it press, tight there, you have it flat against your abdomen, sort of your pubic area, and have it pressed there. So these are for people who, for one reason or another, either aren't comfortable with or have trouble maintaining the between the leg tuck. Now, up-tucking is something I've never really gone in for. I haven't really talked about, mainly for that reason. But the idea of an up-tuck is you'll still, get your testicles up into that cavity and then just have everything pressed against your lower abdomen. And that hasn't really been viable with most of the stuff I've had before. It is viable with these, though. So if you would prefer an up-tuck, the one note about an up-tuck is, one of the things about a standard tuck is because of sort of how tightly you've got it in at the angle, it's very unlikely that you will get physically aroused. Whereas with an up tuck, it's more possible to happen. You can make your own judgment on how much of a concern that is. But yeah, you could definitely up tuck with these, and there would still be a slight bulge, but it would be very minor because I did try that. And surprisingly effective for that as well. So, Femme has a variety of styles. As I said, they sent me this everyday wear and this more sort of premium one. I had a great experience with both of them. I had wonderful results with both. I found both to be quite comfortable, especially the everyday wear one. I thought they both looked nice, and just sort of really being a little bit rough on it and not being gentle, these really do, I won't know this for certain until sometime later, but these really do give me the impression of probably being longer lasting than my thong ones as well, which had a tendency to have sort of this stitching start to come loose after sooner than I would have liked. Whereas these really do seem to have a lot more solid structure and stitching to them. So I would expect to get more life out of these than with the thong ones that I talked about originally. So yeah, Femme Gaffs. I am officially going to recommend these. And unless I'm in a situation where I need the unclockable and I need that bare minimum coverage, these easily, I'm probably going to get rid of my thong gaffs. These are much better. So, thank you very much to Femme for sending these to me and allowing me to review them. And thank you, folks, for listening. I hope you found this helpful. If there are any other companies out there with products that they think my subscribers might be interested in, feel free to reach out. I feel like it's gone well the few times I've done it so far. That's not to say that I'm now restricting product reviews to only people who send me stuff. If I come across stuff on my own and just want to talk about it, I will still do that. So I don't know, I'm getting rambly at the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy what I do have a Patreon. It is under Council of Geeks, which is my other channel. But if you wish to support me in general and my ability to pay my bills and eat, there's the thing. Like, share, subscribe, all of that is wonderful. And I definitely appreciate you sticking all the way through this video. So please remember, because this is important, You are beautiful. You are valid. You are loved.